welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. And if you've been watching me, or if you have been watching Embracing the Fight since January of 2023, you will know that it was designed to help normalize the conversations surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. You know how hard it is to talk about yourself when you're going through something or when you have an issue. So I said, hey, let me start the conversation off because I was journeying through thyroid cancer and everything is going well. And I appreciate all the messages, the thoughts, the prayers. I won't have another checkup again until July. They actually moved it. It was supposed to be May 8th, but they moved it to July. So I look forward to actually sitting with my endocrinologist because I know that she's going to say, I don't see anything. And that means by his stripes, I am healed. And if you've been watching Embracing the Fight, you know, lately, there have been a lot of people that have been coming on and sharing their stories. Could that be you? Would you like to share your story? Would you like to be a guest on Embracing the Fight? If so, send me an email to operations@diversitydesigned.com. And if you haven't taken a moment to click subscribe, click like, click share, or comment on some of the episodes, please take a moment to do that. This helps me to get the message out to those people that really need to hear it, that really need to be encouraged. Don't be selfish. Don't hold on to all this goodness for yourself. You know, spread it out. It's free. It's okay. It's free. So we're going to jump right into today's episode. I actually had to put together a little PowerPoint for you because I've been having, people talking about not being able to see, after a certain age. Everybody's like, oh, I'm 40 and I'm starting to see halos, and oh, I need reading glasses, and oh, my eyes are watering all the time, or I have to blink several times before I can see. So let's talk about, do you see what I see? Episode 69. Do you see what I see? So think about it. Just because, we're looking at the same thing doesn't mean that our eye is processing it the exact same way. And I just want to make sure I put this little caveat out there. I am not an optometrist. I am not an ophthalmologist. I am neither. I have a degree in electrical engineering and physics. And only reason I want to talk about eyes is because it's extremely important. And hopefully this talk will spark something in you to make you go and have your eyes checked, because you only get, this one pair of eyes. I mean, total blindness is something that you can't come back from. Now, with technology, you might be able to get some type of transplant, but why go through that when you can take care of your eyes in the first place? All right, let's jump right into the PowerPoint. All right. So when you look here, what do you see? You see this eye chart, right? So if all you can see without your glasses or anything, like if I take my glasses off, I can see down to LPED. And I wonder, if that's what that actually says. Because if you think about it, whenever I go to the eye doctor, sometimes I wonder, like, do I know my alphabet? Because there's no way that that says anything other than, LPED. But then when I put my glasses on, I see the lowest line. It looks like FDPLTCEO. And that's the very bottom line. So that means my site is exceptionally well, when looking at that. But then, I'm kind of close to the computer screen too, so I could be cheating, right? Let's just jump right in. I thought that was an interesting thing to do. So what I want to talk to you about today is ophthalmology versus optometry, the various parts, or you might as well say the anatomy of the eye, different eye diseases and disorders, and eye care, things that you can do to help to protect your eyes. So what is ophthalmology? You hear people, use ophthalmology and optometry interchangeably when they are quite, different things. Ophthalmology is actually a branch of medicine. So you have to go to medical school and you have to study the medicine that is used to treat the disorders of the eye. So they can actually prescribe medication, they can perform surgery. There are different, fields of ophthalmology, like you can have retina specialists, different people of that nature, because they are dealing with a specific part, of the eye. And with optometry, you go to optometry school and they basically examine your eyesight and prescribe corrective lenses. So I don't know of any optometrists that can administer, eye medication as far as like maybe taking a needle, sticking it, in your eye, because I've had that done before because I had some leaking retinal blood vessels that the only thing you could do was take a needle and stick it in there, and it caused those blood vessels, or those retinal blood vessels, to actually close so the leaking would stop. Now, that's not something that an optometrist would do. You have to go to an ophthalmologist. All right. So now let's look at the eye. If you notice, there are several parts of the eye. And if you look at the diagram to the left, you'll see where the cornea is. And the function of the cornea is basically what protects the inside of your eye. So anytime you have something, happen to your eye, it impacts how you see, as far as how light, enters your eye. So then you have the sclera, which is the white part of your eye. I always wondered, what was that called? Because I always say the whites of my eyes, but the white portion of your eye is called the sclera, and it forms the general shape and the structure of your actual eyeball. So then you have the conjunctiva, which is a clear, thin layer that covers the sclera and lines the inside of your eyelids. So all these different parts of your eye, you just think, oh, I just got an eye, a pupil, cornea. Those are the things that you hear about normally. But then you have a space in your eye, you have an aqueous humor, and you have a vitreous humor. And both of those is basically where the fluid, fills the space, in your eye. And whenever they put that puff of air into your eye, they're measuring the pressure of your eye. That's being measured, through the aqueous and the vitreous humors. But the vitreous humor, it deals more with letting the nutrients in, and out of your eye. So then you have an iris, and your iris is what really controls the color of your eye, and it contains the muscles that control the size, of your pupil. So think about your pupil. Your pupil is that black center that's on the inside of where your iris is. So whenever they dilate your eyes, you'll see where it will widen, and then, it'll narrow once, it's completely over, because, dilating means it's opening. So we've already kind of talked about the vitreous humor, but you have a retina. And the retina is a thin layer of light-sensitive cells at the back of your eyes. So it's basically converting light into electrical signals. And then it lets you to see, it contains rods, basically, that allow you to see low lights, and cones, which allow you to see colors. So when you hear about people having color blindness, they have issues, with the cones in the retina of their eye. So then you have this cute little thing called a macula. So this is the area of the retina That's the key to your vision. And you hear people talk about macular degeneration, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But this is like when you go to the eye doctor and they tell you to focus on that little house that's at the very, very end. I don't know if it's a house or it could be a boat, it could be whatever. And they tell you to focus on it. And then all of a sudden you see it come into focus and then go out of focus and come into focus. What they're doing is they're checking your field of vision, what's in the center of it. They're checking your macula. And then you have your optic nerve, and it's what connects your retina to your brain. It's like what's sending the signal from what you're seeing, to your brain. So if you have, an issue with your optic nerve, say if it's swelling or if you've damaged it in some way, then that can lead to poor vision and blindness as well, because your brain isn't receiving the proper signal from this nerve in order to determine what it is that you're actually looking at. So I remember being in an accident when I was about 15 years old, and I hit my face, on the windshield because my seatbelt broke. I did have on my seatbelt, but it actually snapped, away from where it was connected. And when my face came in contact with the windshield, the force was so great that I went from having 20/20 vision to, 20/40 in one eye, and I think it was like 60/40 or 40/60 in the other eye. And when I went to the ophthalmologist, they said, "Oh yeah, your optic nerve is swollen. It's probably from the impact. It's going to take some time, for it to go down if it goes down, because it's not like you could put ice on it and it's going to go down, or it's not like you could put drops of any kind, to make it go down." And that was back, in the 90s. So there's not a whole lot of technology that will help correct that. So even after years, I still don't have, clear vision. I will forever have to wear, corrective lenses because of that impact to my optic nerve. So then you also have external muscles that controls, your eye position, your eye alignment, your eye movement. They contribute to your eye shape. And then it helps with your ability to switch your vision focus between near, and far. So like when you're driving along, how you can look down and you can see the things in your car, and then you look back up and you can read the signs. Those external muscles are what allow you to do that. So let's talk about some eye diseases and eye disorders that you may end up dealing with if you don't take care of your eyes. So let's talk about the eye diseases first. So you have that age-related macular degeneration. So what that is, you may have had 20/20 vision all your life, and then all of a sudden you get to be 40 and you driving down the highway and you notice it's like, oh, I can't even read that tag in front of me. And then late at night you start to see, a little bit of glow and everything looks like it has a halo around it. Well, see, that's been my normal vision, for the past 30 plus years. But when that happens to you, if you've had perfect vision, what's happening is you are experiencing macular degeneration, and it just blurs, your central vision. Now, people ask, should I get some type of corrective surgery to help that? And I asked my ophthalmologist that, and he was like, he didn't suggest that you do that because your eyes are still changing after you turn, 40. It's kind of like downhill, for that sort of thing, for being able to read and, see things up close, naturally. So he suggested just getting some reading glasses. So here I am saying, if I wear contacts, I got to wear reading glasses. So why even wear contacts? Just wear regular glasses, right? All right. So then you have glaucoma, and that's basically vision loss or blindness due to a damaged optic nerve. And no one really knows, exactly what the cause is, because some people, just get it. Like you don't have to be hit in the eye, you don't have to be hit in the face, you don't have to poke yourself in the eye. You don't have to have any like brain trauma or anything like that. It's just something that, occurs in some people. So then there's also cataracts. And the interesting thing about cataracts is you can actually have those removed if you go ahead and you do this sooner than later. So once you start noticing like darkness or like the clouding of the lens of your eye, it's very important that you see an ophthalmologist sooner than later because that can be corrected. And I smile when I say this because my mom actually had, cataract surgery. And when she did, she started being able to see like spots on the wall and lint and all kinds of stuff. And I'm sitting here going, man, how in the world, did she see all of that? But it's because they removed that clouding, out of the lens of her eye, and she's able to see clearly again now. Yes, she wears like reading glasses, but she doesn't need glasses like to see, TV, like if she's just watching TV or to read if the letters are large enough. She's able to see colors clearly. So if you know someone that has been complaining about that and they don't know exactly what it is, please take the time to tell them, hey, there's something that can be done about this. You don't have to live with this because if you continue to live with cataracts, this can permanently affect your vision and it can be cloudy, forever, if not, total blindness. And then you have amblyopia. And that's what we call, lazy eye. And the weird thing is it usually only affects, one eye because the brain just recognizes the sight in that one eye and the muscles in that eye move slower, or that eye, doesn't open quite as far, as the other eye, and it's not as strong now. In years past, you saw people wearing a patch, over that eye so that eye would get stronger. So I don't know, exactly how it's treated now because I don't ever see anybody walking around with a patch, and I don't see a lot of people, with a lazy eye. And I don't know if that's because they realized it was something that was happening at the time of birth. Like if, say, a child was grabbed or twisted or turned a certain way, does it affect their eyes? I don't know. So with the technology, or say with the vitamins or the different things that pregnant women, are consuming, may reduce, children from having this lazy eye. All right, so then you have eye disorders. Then you have these corneal disorders. This has to deal with your cornea. And there's a such thing as keratoconus. And when I was in college, I knew someone that actually dealt with that. And the cornea was shaped like a cone, and he had to wear these gas permeable contact lenses that, he could sleep in, didn't have to take them out, anything like that. Every so often, you'd have to take them out to clean them. But 9 times out of 10, had to wear them. But if he wasn't wearing them, it was so close to him being legally blind because the cornea was shaped like a cone. Also, another corneal disorder is dry eye. And, it could feel like you have something scratching you on your eye. And that can result like in a corneal ulcer. So something you can do to try to prevent that, drink more water. You can even use like artificial tears. But again, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose you. I can't, tell you what you need to do to correct it. Go see an ophthalmologist. I just want you to be aware of what these disorders are. So when you start seeing or feeling these things, you kind of know what to ask your ophthalmologist while you're there. So then you have retinal disorders like retinal detachment. When retinal detachment occurs because one is very painful. Two, it's like a big flash, of light. It's just extremely bright to the point where you cannot stand it. That can come from say if you, I don't know, do something weird like bungee jumping and you snap your head down, too hard, your retina can become detached because of that. Or it could be something like this diabetes related retinopathy. So if you have diabetes, then you will potentially have a greater risk of having issues, with your retina, with it degenerating. And when that happens, your retina can also become detached and you can have problems with your vision. Also, there are refractive areas with your lens. So some people are nearsighted, and people always get confused, like which one's nearsighted, which one's farsighted. Nearsighted means you can see things up close. That means your sight is near. Farsighted means you can see things that are far away, right? Just like it says, nearsighted. I am blind. I mean, I can see, up close when I take my glasses off, but I can't tell you what it is I'm looking at, and shoot, that far away, you just disappear altogether. All right, then you also have these optic nerve related conditions. So optic neuritis. So neuritis, basically what it is the inflammation of your optic nerve, and for some reason this happens to some people where it gets extremely large or it gets inflamed, and you start to have issues with low vision and blindness, as well as optic atrophy, where your optic nerve, the muscle, it just begins to die, and it loses its ability to do what it's supposed to do. It's like your optic nerve is basically losing its strength. It's not sending the signals like it should to your brain. It's losing that connection. So what can you do to help yourself when it comes to eye care? Make sure that you are getting an annual eye exam. Even if you don't have like health insurance, an annual eye exam may run you $100, but you can get into some places where it's much less. But make sure when you do this annual eye exam that you get your eyes dilated, because when they dilate your eyes, they're able to look, into the back of your eye and see if you have any disorders that are developing. And also at this eye exam, if you can't see, they can prescribe glasses. They can prescribe, corrective lenses. You can also talk to your ophthalmologist if you didn't go to an optometrist. If you go to an ophthalmologist, if you've had other issues, like for instance, if you changed medication and you've noticed, a change in your eyes, then they can tell you, okay, well, this is why this happened. So say for instance, like with me having thyroid cancer, um there's something called thyroid eye disease, but I don't have that. It's kind of where your eyes are bulging, and I know they're big and everything, but they're not bulging. Um, but your eyes, are basically bulging from where you had, the issues with your thyroid, and it affects, your vision. Um, I don't know if you all remember a very famous track star many years ago. Her name was Gail Devers, and she had Graves' disease, which was like, a thyroid disorder, which affected, her eyesight. Also, you want to make sure that you're wearing eye protection. And that's not just like PPE if you work, in a maintenance environment. This is also like if you're out in the sun and you need to wear sunglasses, or if you decide to go swimming, make sure that you're putting on those goggles, because otherwise you're getting chlorine in your eyes, probably whatever, is in the water. You don't know what's in the water, especially like if you're, say, in the ocean or something like that, and you got all this bacteria, or a natural spring, a lake. You swimming in this stuff and it's getting in your eyes. You need to make sure that you have something, to protect your eyes. Another thing that you can use, to help to protect your eyes, eye drops. Like I was saying, your eyes get really dry. If you're not drinking enough water, then make sure that you're getting an eye drop. But like I said, speak with a professional, an optometrist or an ophthalmologist about these eye drops to make sure you're getting the proper kind that will help assist you with the dry eye. The next thing that you can do is eat healthy. So you know that when you're overweight, then you can get other disorders like diabetes, or you can basically just throw your body off. You could be giving your body way too much potassium and other nutrients that pass, through the eye. And you don't want to, overload your eye with those things, because just like when you overload your body with food, you get fat, you gain weight, you store the fat. But with your eyes have to keep, a balance between this aqueous and this vitreous humor. And if you have, too much of something going in and out of your eyes, you don't know what the actual impact, could be. So let's be mindful, of what you eat. And please make sure that you are drinking enough water. You need to hydrate, because 80% of your eye is water, or should I say fluid, 80%. So if you are dehydrated, then your eyes are dry. How is your eye going to function, like it should? Another thing you can do, is exercise regularly. Regular exercise never hurt anyone, right? Make sure you're avoiding smoking or dealing with any tobacco products and drugs, things of that nature, because that also, impacts your eye health. So thank you so much for taking a moment out to listen to Embracing the Fight. I hope that this episode 69, Do You See What I See, has sparked something in you to make you want to go and see an optometrist or an ophthalmologist, or it has you questioning what's going on with your eyes, if anything, especially if you have children or if you have older adults that you're caring for. You need to really pay attention, to how they see things. And if you would like to be a guest on Embracing the Fight, again, I'm asking that you send an email to operations@diversitydesign.com. Until next time, I want you all to have an absolutely amazing day.